Hello everyone, welcome back to LaExcellence Bengaluru presents current issue of the day, episode number 157. Today we will be discussing another main specific important topic, that is India-European Union relations or India-Europe relations. Okay, recently we have discussed about India-Africa relations. So in line with that, I will be discussing India-Europe relations, and in the coming videos I will be discussing India and major powers relations and their current context. Okay, because these kinds of questions are very like most of the times are repeated in the mains. As a result, I am covering the syllabus or covering the topics which are very important from mains perspective. So we will see why it is in news at the moment, and we will also discuss about India-Europe relations and why there is a need for convergence and what are the issues and how do you address these issues. So in paper it comes under GS paper 2, international relations. So the context is, recently there was an article written by Shashi Tharoor where he discussed there is a need for India and Europe to come together because the world is going through a phase of vacancy, because China and USA are going towards protectionist policies. So he says that there are common aspirations of India and Europe, they should come together and bridge that gap. Okay, so in a volatile global order, marked by geopolitical fragmentation, India and Europe are increasingly seen as stable, value-driven partners. Both are recalibrating foreign policies to adapt to the decline of traditional alliances and rise in multipolarity. Okay, so what is happening at the global world order? There is increasing protectionism, mainly headed by USA under Donald Trump, and also there is uncertainties all around the world, be it Israel-Palestine conflict or be it Ukraine-Russia conflict. Okay, so the world is kind of going through a turmoil. As a result, there is a need for India and Europe to come together and bridge the gaps. So first we'll understand India and Europe relations a deeper dive. Why the relationship is so significant for both the stakeholders. First we'll understand the significance of partnership. Significance is to bring strategic balance in a polarized world. It counters the bipolar pull of US-China rivalry, advocates for multipolarity in the inclusive governance. Okay, India and Europe can play the role of India and the global south that played the role during the Cold War. During the Cold War, there was a bipolar world between US and USSR. In these times, India was the major player with the help of non-aligned movement. It provided a platform for the global south, the countries who had just come out of colonialism. It provided a non-aligned movement. Now there is a bipolar world happening between USA and China. There is a rivalry between US and China. As a result, bystanders, the other countries such as India, Europe and global south are suffering. Now there is a time for Europe and India to come together and be the non-aligned movement again. Second, with respect to trade and investment, European Union is India's third largest trading partner after USA and UAE. Bilateral trade in goods is around 120 billion in 2023, and European Union FDI stock in India is over 100 billion as of 2022. So the relationship is not just for the namesake. There are outcomes which can be seen as well, such as in economic relations. Next, climate and technology. Cooperation under India-European Union Connectivity Partnership in 2020 as well as India-European Union Green Deal, and collaborations are on solar energy, hydrogen tech, electric vehicles and battery storage. Both the countries are moving towards green technologies. Though both are at a different stage, Europe is at the forefront in green technologies. India, because of its historical context and also because of its large population and the needs of the population, is moving towards the green technologies, but not at the rapid rate that the Europe is moving. However, both vision is that being carbon neutral in the coming years. So both the interests are converging here. Then with respect to mobility and education, enhanced student mobility, work visas and blue card reforms are being explored. European Union's Learn for Skill initiative with India supports skill development for overseas employment. Okay, European Union is also helping India and Indian students to gain skills so that they are able to get jobs. They are able to get jobs in Europe. Also, there was recently a scheme which I had covered, that is Erasmus Plus. Under Erasmus Plus, European Union or European Commission is providing scholarships to bright Indian students so that they can get scholarships, they can get education and also help get a job in Europe. Next is need for a renewed partnership. Okay, though the relationships are blooming, there is a need for a renewed partnership. Why? According to Shashi Tharoor, these are the important sectors or these are the important parameters on which India and Europe should work towards. First is converging strategic vision, that is shared vision of a multipolar world based on international law, inclusive institutions and pluralism. Understand this, international law, so that powers like China is not able to steamroll into their own laws. For example, China's assertive role in 9-dash line or South China Sea, 9-dash line in South China Sea, which is undermining the international law such as UN clause. So here India and European Union should come together and bring certain pressure so that all the powers in the world uphold or adhere to international law. Second is inclusive institutions. What is this? Bringing reforms in institutions such as United Nations, World Economic Forum, WTO, etc., etc. And then is pluralism, that is the power not only in the hands of two major powers but also different countries also have a say in decisions. Then strengthened bilateral ties with key European Union members such as France, Germany and Italy, and also growing interest in Nordic and Eastern European countries highlight there is a convergence in strategic vision. Then economic synergies and trade. European Union's FDI in India grew by 70% between 2015 to 2022, and France's investment alone grew by a whopping 373% in the same period. Okay, which shows that there is a increasing convergence between the trade relations. Then European Union India trade doubled in the past 3 years. Now the need is to pending India and European Union free trade agreement needs to be fast tracked to realize the full potential. Okay, so the India European Union free trade agreement, which has been on delay or on halt because of various disagreements, should be taken into consideration. Then in technological and digital collaboration, India is a technological leader in digital public infrastructure and software platforms. European Union is, its strength is in semiconductors, digital manufacturing and deep technology. So both countries can come together and there can be sharing between technologies. Shared approach to regulating big tech and pushing clean energy and AI governance. Okay. Then with respect to defense and security cooperation, both regions seek strategic autonomy. India via Atmanirbhar Bharat, European Union via Rearm 2025. Okay, what happened with respect to European Union is post Second World War, most of the stronger European Union countries such as Germany, UK and France were dealing with post-war traumas. Okay, they were focusing more on building the economy, building the country rather than arming. As a result, they became increasingly dependent on their transatlantic neighbor, that is United States of America. They were heavily dependent on United States of America. As a result, they almost gave their autonomy, strategic autonomy, at the hands of USA. Now the European Union has decided to rearm. That is, their mission is to rearm 2025, especially with USA's increasing protectionism and Russia's increasing aggression. Then increasing collaborations in maritime security, cyber security, counter-terrorism and defense tech co-development and transfer is happening between India and European Union. And there is a need for a more assertive European stance on the Pakistan sponsored extremism is needed. Okay. Then with respect to role in global governance, both are responsible powers in the world. So both champion multilateralism as an antidote to coercive great power politics, which is led by mainly USA and China, can co-lead global governance reforms at the United Nations, WTO and AI platforms, jointly support the global south with equitable and development focused policies, and also bringing cultural and perception shifts. Public diplomacy and mutual understanding must complement state level ties as well. And finally, initiatives like Raisina Dialogue in Marseille in 2025 and President von der Leyen's visit to Delhi in February 2025 reflect this cultural alignment. Okay, so it is on a up. However, there are certain issues which still persist. The challenges in India-European relations are mainly under these issues. First and the most pressing issue is the free trade agreement negotiations. It was stalled since 2007. Major differences are over tariffs, intellectual property rights, data flow and environment. Both the partners want favorable conditions for both of them. India wants lesser IPR protection, Europe wants stricter IPR protections. India wants larger movement of technology and higher movement of personals, but Europe wants to restrict that. So there needs to be a balance. And then carbon border adjustment mechanism, that is CBAM. European Union's climate protection measures may hurt Indian exporters, especially steel and cement. What is this carbon border adjustment mechanism? That is, if this is India and if this is Europe, if India is exporting a product or a good to Europe, they will first check how they are manufactured. If during the process of manufacturing, if there is higher carbon dioxide or carbon or greenhouse gas emission for that matter, if there is higher greenhouse gas emission, then under this carbon border adjustment mechanism, there will be higher tariffs on these goods from India. India, being a developing country, is reliant on coal. As a result, the manufacturing process is going to result in higher greenhouse gases. As a result, Indian goods which are entering European Union are going to attract more tariffs. So here, this has to be addressed between both the countries. Then, with respect to regulatory misalignments such as GDPR, Global Digital Protection Rules, and AI regulation or AI governance and tech rules often diverge. And with respect to political sensitivities, India's concerns over European Union's comments on the international matters, for example, Kashmir and Citizenship Amendment Act. Okay, so British MP recently talked about Kashmir issue and he called India the aggressor, India as occupier, and also some of the MPs from France also commented on Citizenship Amendment Act. So they should also have certain sensitivities regarding the comments on Indian international matter, Indian internal matters. And also there is limited defense ties between India and European Union. Limited in comparison to Russia or USA. Okay, India has a higher, or India is increasing the limit defense ties with respect to with France, with P-75 submarines, P-75 strategy, etc., and also increasing with Europe, United Kingdom. However, it is very less compared to Russia and United States. So India should collaborate more in this aspect. Next, latest developments which you can use as a fodder material in your answers if there is a question about India and European Union relations. India and European Union Trade and Tech Councils. Operational since 2023. It covers critical technologies such as 6G and supply chains. India-France Strategic Dialogue 2025. It deepens ties in defense, space and nuclear energy. And PM Modi's visit to Germany in 2025. It strengthened green hydrogen and digital twin technical cooperation. Digital twin technological cooperation, excuse me. And India's G20 presidency follow-up post 2023. European Union and India aligned on climate finance and food security. So there are lots of convergence and alignment between India and European Union. Now the step is to go a step further. Now the time is to go a step further. To achieve that, what should be the way forward is concluding India-European Union Free Trade Agreement with mutual flexibility on green transitions as well as IPRs. Create an India-European Union mobility and talent partnership to ease labor movement. Very important. Write down this. India-European Union mobility and talent partnership. These are very key words which you can use in your answer. Then institutionalize defense cooperation with tech transfer and R&D partnerships. Aligning digital sovereignty frameworks via joint AI and cyber governance. And expand engagement with the smaller European states such as Nordic countries, Baltics and Eastern Europe as well. And finally, promoting civil society and youth exchanges for a long-term cultural alignment. Okay, only when the relationship is between people to people, it is going to transition into country to country relations. Okay, so this is the topic for the day. I will discuss it in a holistic way from the issues, from the convergence and from how to address those issues. So if you like the video, then please hit the like button, comment on it and also share with your friends. And for more videos like this, subscribe to the channel and also click on the bell icon so that you don't miss any notification. With this, I will end the video. Jai Hind.